Hello, Earth and I fam. Welcome to another Sunday Flow. My name is Shayna Kay. I want to welcome you into this space. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful to have this community that we can tap in together to really expand our consciousness and to be validated in the craziness of this life experience. I invite you to subscribe, join the fam, check out the website, and I love the comments and reading your perspectives. That's super important to me, and I want to thank you for sharing in that way and also invite you to do so. This flow is all about feeling, and we're going to let the universe guide the conversation, and we're going to leave with a renewed understanding of our worthiness when it comes to feeling our feelings. And here we flow. Feelings are a universal experience that have been molded over time in terms of the way that we hold the space for our feelings. When we're young, we have no real comparison to understanding the way that feelings manifest. It happens to each of us on a personal level, and over time we begin developing a sensory awareness, I would say, ways in which we cope, ways in which we avoid, ways in which we express. As we begin becoming conscious, we understand the different kinds of feelings or emotions. And I want to dive into that. Feelings are energy and motion. They are subliminal messages that go beyond our conscious mind. Feelings are not constructed. They are not direct. They are energetic expressions that are encoded with messages that allow us to move through a present moment fully. It's really a way that we can communicate with the beyond and understanding how something is affecting us on an energetic level. Now, as humans, we have actualized these emotions, we have defined these emotions, and come to a general understanding about different kinds of feelings and energies. And in that, we begin to create biases. A perfect example is we're very biased towards negative emotions, which can be described as sadness, anger, hurt. And when we begin to create these biases, it can start an avoidance strategy where we're avoiding these certain feelings. Now, we have to understand that feelings are a spectrum, okay? And they fluctuate, our energy fluctuates throughout this spectrum. They're all equal on the spectrum, but our human consciousness defines the different areas on the spectrum, and we have preference for certain energies and motions. What the tricky part is we do not have control over what feelings we experience. We try really hard to. We really do try to control the emotion, the energy, the feelings. I'll use my life as an example. I personally have really built up a blockage in terms of feeling sadness. It comes in waves. Sometimes I am more equipped, better, more open to experiencing these energies of sadness. And I realize that in my life, when I avoid sadness, it leads to depression. We can get attached to these emotional states because they feel safe. I felt safe avoiding my sadness, and that created a chain link reaction where my life just started becoming overall sad. And we try to replace that feeling of sadness with a feeling of happiness, but that's not how the fluctuation works. We have to fully go through the sadness, and then we will find happiness. And same with happiness. We have to fully go through happiness, And then we will be guided to the next emotion, to the next note in our song. And it happens the same way with happiness, just in a different way. We have this true desire for happiness. Again, I can use my life as an example. I've been able to move through this, but I had an unhealthy attachment to always wanting to be happy. I tried so hard to hold on to the happiness, to the excitement in my life, that all it did was detach me from fully experiencing that energy and motion. Especially as we start growing older, we feel like we have to be more mature and kind of disconnected from our emotions, but it's the complete opposite. When we're disconnected from our emotions, we begin developing a coping kind of lifestyle where we're doing things that we don't really want to do, but we do them for the sake of not having to fill the void, to feel the feelings. When we can create a healthy relationship with feelings and we can have actionable steps we can take to move through the energy, that's when we start working with universal code. What universal code is that you don't necessarily do different things with different emotions. Dancing is something that I utilize. I dance when I'm sad. I dance when I'm happy. I dance when I'm at peace. I move my body in all these different ways, and I let the energy and motion, the emotion, direct the way that I'm going to move through that practice. Another one is journaling. I don't just journal when I'm happy or excited about something. I journal when I'm sad and I need to express that. A connection that I made is about when I was growing up, the idea that you don't just pray to God when you want something. It's the same with emotion. We don't just create the space for emotion when we're feeling good. We have to be able to do that all the time. And there are going to be times where we struggle with this, and that's okay. That's natural. When we realize that and we give ourselves grace instead of giving ourselves shame, we're fully present. We're fully learning and growing. That's part of the process, is going through those periods of time where we feel so disconnected from everything. We don't really want to take action. We're just fully in the feeling. That's beautiful too. Recently, I've been struggling with holding the space for my sadness, and I felt myself falling really, really deep into that end of the spectrum. And sometimes we don't know if that's what we're meant to be doing or that's what we're simply doing to ourselves. And there's magic in that, because when we move through that, we realize that everything happened for a divine purpose, to show us a certain thing, to move us a certain way. And no one is immune to emotion. And again, not having control over this is really part of the mystery and part of the greatness of being alive, is that we're going to be directed in certain ways, and it's not always from a brain wave. It's not always from, a conscious choice. That's kind of a way to tap into our deep subconscious, is through these feelings that are beyond our tangible realms, that are really beyond our understanding sometimes, but we have to trust that they're coming to us for a certain reason. Feelings are a great way to connect with our intuition. When we're able to hold the space for emotion to naturally flow through us, we inevitably have a closer tie to our intuition, because it is a feeling, a gut feeling about somebody, a gut feeling about going somewhere, whether it's a positive or a negative. It's all about the ability to understand the way that that manifests, the way that that speaks to us. Our intuition speaks to us, just like our feelings speak to us. And our feelings do demand to be heard. They need to be heard, or they become stagnant. They become a creator for us rather than an aspect of our experience. And those avoidance strategies, they really pull us away from our center, from our soul center. And sometimes we do need to get pulled away to learn a lesson, but it's just about not making that a habitual act, if that makes sense. It's really about being more closely tied to understanding the experience and realizing that this is not the end of the world. This is temporary. It's another amazing idea that we can embody about emotions, is that they're always temporary. They always pass and we move to another place on the spectrum. And we have been experiencing this spectrum our whole entire lives. There isn't a new spectrum when, you reach certain levels of consciousness. It is very much a universal spectrum, and that's a beautiful thing that we can unite together and understand for one another. It's a way that we're really connected and connected to the universe and connected to a world beyond this one. You never really know how something's going to make you feel. We begin to create these safety nets that are in predictability of how things are going to make us feel, and that's kind of what keeps us trapped. When we have this prediction of, we know how we're going to feel when we do this, so I'm going to continue to do that. But what really being alive is all about is taking steps into places that we don't know how it's going to make us feel. And when we go there, we get to learn, we get to grow, and we know even more what we actually want to experience, where we actually want to go. Whatever's coming to you, it's coming to you for a reason. This video, the reason why, somebody cut you off when you were driving down the street, why a child complimented you in the grocery store, how these things make us feel, they're signs and symbols. And don't get tricked into, looking too much into certain feelings and emotions. It very much is a natural flow, and it just takes time and practice to allow ourselves to be comfortable with diagnosing those things and really digesting what's happening to us. The more that we can find practices that empower us in that way, it's beautiful. It really is, and to love ourselves in every season of that. Feelings and emotions are very much like seasons, and we can experience all 4 seasons in one day. Now, that isn't, the best thing at times, but sometimes it's the necessary thing. And we shouldn't just love ourselves when we're happy. That has been a powerful lesson for me that I would love to share with you, is that, I only really wanted to love myself when I was happy, when I was excited, when I was full of life, when I was lively. And I had to learn really quick, I have to love myself just as much then as I do when I'm mopey, when I feel sad, when the world is weighing on me. Only through that love will I really elevate my level of consciousness and my understanding of my truest desires. And it's really a test of our commitment to our dreams as well. When we're going on this emotional roller coaster, how well are we going to stay committed to the things that we really want to actualize? Feelings kind of have this thing of derailing our entire life plan, and it's just having that connection to our intuition, our inner knowledge of whether we're meant to change directions or we're meant to stay on the direction that we're going. So overall, as we wrap up this flow, I want you to be empowered to feel your feels. Everything that you're feeling is valid, but don't fall into the trap of staying stuck or comfortable with a limited amount of emotion. Open yourself up to the entire spectrum. Find practices that allow you to feel your feelings, that allow you to express them. That's the second step. You feel them, you express them, and then you move on. Expressing feelings can be described as a way in which the gained knowledge is pushed out into our external world. So the first step is feeling those feelings, sitting with them, allowing them to move through our auras to gain the knowledge that they need, and then they gift us with the wisdom that we need. And to complete the cycle, we push that out into our external world. Whether we treat people with more kindness, we're more patient with ourselves, we take the time to be where we are really fully and deeply, even in times of discomfort and pain. And whatever the lesson is, there are a multitude of them, but this is something we really can't get away from. It's something we just train ourselves to be more comfortable with, to understand in our own lives. And when we do that, we share that with others. We hold the space for others to feel their feelings, to express their emotions, to really be who they are. And we aren't our feelings, but we are the space that our feelings move through. And everyone experiences a unique form of that spectrum we were talking about. It's beautiful, and that's living life in fullness, seeing that full spectrum, holding the space for that full spectrum, and not moving through it with biases or really deep preferences. All right, my dear ones, that's our flow. So now we flow, and it's time to go. I really hope that you gained some wisdom, some feelings, even some validation on this topic. And remember that you're empowered to do, be, go wherever you please, be whoever you are intended to be. And emotion is just a slim part of that journey that can really tap us into deeper innate knowledge, wisdom, and allow us to heal as well. When we experience situations or energy and motion from our past, it's giving us the opportunity to heal that, to feel that in a new way, and to hold space in a greater love and a greater capacity for moving forward and going into the unknown. I love you all so much, so thankful for you, and I welcome you to the community if you are new. Check out the website, submit a personalized story. I'm working on crafting a monthly newsletter that I would love to share with each and every one of you. So just keep an eye out for that. And until next time, my dear ones, feel your feels, let the world see you as you are, and welcome the unknown into your home. I don't mean strangers. Until next time, guys, take care.